not supposed to be green, like faith's not supposed to be seen. The sky's not supposed to touch the ground, and a square's not supposed to be round. The moon's not supposed to touch the sun, and a two is not supposed to be a one. Said the heart's not supposed to weigh a ton, and forever's not supposed to be done. Winter's not supposed to come in June, and I am not supposed to have the blues. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, babe, except you and me. There are so many things that I'm not supposed to be. Ooh, baby, yeah, except you and me. Night's not supposed to be long, yeah. No one is supposed to be alone. Understanding is not supposed to be confused, and the wind is not supposed to lose. Like fire's not supposed to freeze, or like joy is not supposed to grieve. Like you are not supposed to leave what I said I'm not supposed to mean. He is not supposed to have your heart. Baby, we are not supposed to be apart. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, except you and me. There are so many things that are not supposed to be. Hey, baby, it seems just like no seasons changing, or this earth with no creation, or a heart with no feelings, or a sickness without a healing. Just like a frozen spring, or a bird with no wings. Just like a song out of key, that's how my life would be. Like the night skies with no stars, or lonely broken heart. No holding hands or walks in the park. That's how it would be if we were apart. Ooh. There are so many things, yeah, except our love. So many things that are not supposed to be. It's like having nowhere to breathe. Like having no words to breathe. Like having no rain for the sea. There are so many things that's not supposed to be. Not supposed to be. Except you and me, baby. Yeah, yeah, baby, yeah. Except you and me.
But I know that there's more. More for you, more for us.
DJ Discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ Discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
DJ Discretion.
Flow still sick, I ain't talking the pandemic.
Say you love it, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, 'cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We love tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass down, gotta make it last down. Spread our soul, and I'ma beat it up. whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
What up, 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 what up? Oh, some people down. I'm not. A lot of people probably sitting up there like, Dana crazy. Why Dana ain't upset? Dana not upset. I'm going to tell you why. It's called checkers. Then from checkers, you go to chess. A lot of people don't know about that because they're not from the hood. And from what I was told, over in Hyde Park in Chicago, where Robert's from, they would go play chess with the people there, and folks would be, folks would be just sitting there like, okay, waiting for their turn. So I want to say what's up, Dream Team. What up, everybody that's here? I'm rejuvenated. I'm excited. I'm not even holding nothing back today. We're going to talk about Robert today. Okay? Hey, Mama Mary, let's get all our highs out and everything. And I'm going to go here. Get your drinks ready because we're going to read this motion. We're going to read this motion. And I'm going to give y'all something that y'all slipped on. Even though I ain't even finished get to reading it, so y'all wouldn't know, but I'm going to tell you this right here. Judge Leavenweather, I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let you read through it with me, and then y'all gonna be like, yo, what's going on? I'm gonna say this. If y'all believe Robert Sylvester Kelly is being railroaded, put railroaded in the chat. I just want to see something. Shout out to all 114 of you right now. I thank y'all for being here. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but y'all chose to come and listen to what I got to say. The way I'm going to break it down, the way I'm going to flip it down, put it in reverse it, and then give you nothing but the adulterated truth about it all. Judge Leavenworth think he's slick. Now, I purposely waited to 7:50 to go live. Y'all know I would have been jumped on at 6:30 and went live. But I waited to 7:50. I'm going to tell you why. I know there's a group of people out there that always got to do everything first. So I wanted to let them go first. I wanted them to have their time. Because it seems that when Dana go lives, all the haters get upset. And I don't know why. I just bring commentary the way I do, and I break it down the way I do, and I study the way I do. And if you look at my live, it clearly says, the title clearly says, they all colluded to give Rob life. Judge response ruling. Let's talk about it together. If nobody know what that means I will have an open line at the end of me reading this motion, this response motion. And the only thing I ask for is just be respectful, no cussing. But then again, if you want to say a curse word or two, just say one or two. Don't make your whole sentence be a curse word, because we are living in a time where we know the government is watching. And we don't want the government to think that we don't have a vocabulary. We don't want them to think that we can't be on what they on. We want them to know that what they doing can't get over on us over here. And we definitely on everything that they on. I don't know about y'all, but I'm on this thing. I seen something today. I seen Natasha and Rick Party holding it down for Tigger on V103. Which made me play some calls to 94.5. I said, I don't know what y'all have to do, but I need to get on the air. We got to talk R. Kelly. And folks like, Dana, you know, it's a sensitive subject. I don't care about it being sensitive. It's either we going to talk or we not. But if we ain't going to talk R. Kelly, you can't give Tim Savage no other slot. And it was like, whoa, Dana, you going too far? Nah, I ain't going too far. You can't give an opposing party and without having somebody to rebut their opposing party. That means it's one-sided. And with the fellas at 94.5, they know me the way they do. They know I will do something drastic. I don't care. I don't care. So I didn't see nobody going live early except for two people. And one of them was on that other party that I don't want to talk about. Not today, at least. Then I seen Prima do a premiere that made me say, she may be on to something. And I said, and if y'all go look at it, I put in the chat, well, I guess I'm next. Everybody's going and people stopping. But I got one thing to say. People have a lot to talk about, but don't want to talk about what needs to be talked about. So my question is, Dana, you can no longer give, hold on. Dana, you can no longer give these people life. You giving them life, and by you giving them life, it's making them credible. So, Dana, you only got to put facts out there on these people. No matter what they say, you got to go. Put facts, go. Put facts, go. Because when you look at it, they can't handle the facts, but they can handle the slander. They can't handle the facts, but they can handle your rebuttals. They can't handle your facts, but they can handle you putting their life out there like they try to do you. I get it. So I made up in my mind. I said I let people say what they want to say. And no matter if you're a bed bug, and no matter if you're liver lips, and no matter if you're a lion walrus, just say what you're going to say. It's not about me. It's about Rob. And I'm going to hammer that to the T. Starting tomorrow on Friday Night Lights. I'm going to give them facts. Now, tomorrow's topic is going to be controversial. So, if you got your church shoes and all that, I don't think you want to miss your church shoes because you're going to need them tomorrow. Anywho, we done with that. This federal case in Chicago was predicated on the state case. The state case was thrown out. Now, I hear some people say, oh, the only reason why the state case was thrown out is because he was charged in the federal case. Well, stop. If the place where it started was thrown out, what is that saying for the federal cases? Because everything was started and trumped in the state case. Then it goes to the feds, right? Then the feds do whatever they got to do, right? But wait. Since the state case has been thrown out where it started, and the feds took all of the evidence to the federal cases, where is the evidence now? Because Brady material, the defendant get to keep everything that was used against him. Nobody talking about that. I'm going to tell you why nobody talking about it. Because it will expose so much of what's going on. Judge Levin Weber let a lot of sugar honey iced tea go on in his trial and during his trial. Some folks going to say, well, Dana, no, and New York had more. Stop. When the walrus did what she did to access Robert Sylvester Kelly files, and I'm going to show that tomorrow, and I showed it in the past. Levin Weber immediately was supposed to have her locked up, but he didn't. He acted like it didn't even matter, but he took it out on Robert, which is unfair. But I get it. The same thing Ann Donnelly trying to do. Whenever somebody say they for Robert and they do something crazy, they attach it to Robert. And Robert don't have nothing to do with it. So we're going to read Judge Levin Weber's response to Bonjean acquittal and for a new trial. And Bonjean gave case law after case law and put it down why this need to be a new trial. Right? There's no reason why Levin Weber should have went against this. But he did. And when, but I'm going to answer all your questions, Avian. I'm gonna answer all your questions because see, what I'm seeing is what I said to Robert before he went in that he's gonna have to see. And I'm gonna call a lot of y'all bluffs now. I'm gonna call a lot of y'all bluffs because now the internet is quiet because of this motion. But this is when the internet should be the loudest. I'm gonna say it again. This is when the internet should be the loudest. Every channel that say we rock with R. Kelly should be attacking this motion. But you know what? When their motive is money, their motive is greed, when their motive is prosperity, when their motive is limelight and recognition, you get what you get now. And that's nothing but crickets. So let's jump into it, shall we? Let's jump into it. United States of America is a plaintiff. I'm gonna ask y'all this question every time I read this motion. Every time I read a motion, I ask y'all this exact question. If anybody have seen the United States of America, please put please put yes in the chat. If you ever seen the United States of America, put yes in the chat. If anybody have seen the United States of America, please put yes in the chat. Coretta said she's seen United States of America. LaMarcus Bailey said he's seen United States of America. I'm gonna ask y'all, when have y'all ever seen the United States of America? Because I have never seen the United States of America walk the streets. I've never seen the United States of America grace a podium. I've never seen the United States of America do whatever they try to do. But you only see the United States of America when it benefits the courts. When it benefits the courts, that's when you see the United States of America. So, when it's in all caps, that means it's a corporate entity. Now watch this. When did Robert Sylvester Kelly become an entity and R. Kelly become a person? If Bon Jean really wanted to be technical and get Levin Weather and some deep sugar honey iced tea, you know what she can do? She can protest this motion right here as frivolous. And she can have it thrown out of court. Because you cannot misdocument a human being. Why is it that Daryl McDavid is a person? Why is it that June Brown is a person, but Milton Brown is a corporate entity? Why is it that Harry D. Levenweather is a person or a human being? But I get the strategy of Miss Bonjean. Let's look. Order. Before the court is defendant Robert Kelly motion for a judgment of acquittal, docket number 387. And two of Kelly's motions for a new trial, docket numbers 388 and 408, for the reasons stated herein, the motions are denied. Let's see what he says. Statement. A motion for judgment of acquittal. Kelly moves for a judgment of acquittal under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 29C. Okay. A judgment of acquittal shall only be granted when the evidence is insufficient to sustain the conviction. Now watch this. If that's been put into place, which it is, ask yourself this question. was the motion, or should I say, was the evidence insufficient for them to really sustain a conviction on Robert Kelly? From what we witnessed and what we saw in New York and Chicago, it wasn't enough evidence. And this is the argument. They said that Robert bought his first trial, right? Well, if Robert bought his first trial, this trial should have been guilty all the way across. But he actually won this trial. Even though Judge Levenweather changed the language for him to get 6 counts, he still won 7 counts. So when I last recall, 7 is greater than 6, right? So therefore, he technically won this trial. However, United States versus James 464 F3D case law, when analyzing a motion for a judgment of acquittal, a court views the evidence in the light most favorable to the government. Listen, a court views the evidence in the light most favorable to the government. A court may only overturn a conviction if the record contains no evidence from which a rational jury could have returned a verdict of guilty. So let me ask this question. And I don't know if Ms. Bonjean watching, I hope she is, but if you don't change "and" to "or," would you have a conviction in Chicago? Answer this question. If you don't change "and" to "or," do you have a conviction in Chicago? I say no. Because when the question was asked, and this is what I never understood from Chicago or New York, when the prosecution and the defense come together with the jury questionnaires and they decide on what the question's going to be, and the judge look over it and rule, okay, this is what the question's going to be. Why do you need to change the wording in the fourth quarter? Or should I take it here for my sports fans? With 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the game, Robert don't have no timeouts. Why would you call pass interference when that's a normal occurrence that happens daily? When this happens daily, why call pass interference and give the home team, which is the government, time to run the clock out until it's 10 seconds left in the game to kick a field goal? I told y'all what this is going on. This is manipulative. This is manipulative chess that the government is trying to play. Okay? So it says, a court may only overturn a conviction if the record contains no evidence from which a rational jury could have returned a verdict of guilty. Kelly's motion challenges his convictions, on all 6 counts. The motion can be divided into 2 parts. Kelly's convictions on the child pornography counts 1 through 3 and the inducement counts 9, 10, and 12. Kelly's motion states that he is challenging his conviction of count 11, which he was acquitted of. That's not what the motion said. At this point, Levenweather need to get somebody to read, because the motion, he's getting the motion mixed up with the sentencing memorandum. But anyway, it says Kelly's motion states that he is challenging his conviction of count 11, which he was acquitted of, rather than count 12, which he was convicted of. Upon review of the motion, it appears to the court that Kelly is actually challenging his conviction on count 12, so the court will analyze the argument as to that count, counts 1 through 3. Counts 1 through 3 of the superseding indictment were all brought under 18 U.S.C. 2251A. The statute penalizes anyone who induces a minor to engage in sexual conduct for the purpose of creating a visual depiction of the conduct. Stop. First of all, it says the statute penalizes anyone who induces a minor to engage in sexual conduct for the purpose of creating a visual depiction of the conduct. Stop. So, who induced a minor? Who induced a minor? Then, I still ain't see where the government proved that Robert sole purpose was to engage in sexual conduct for the purpose of creating a visual depiction. Hey, Doug, I totally agree with you, Doug. I totally agree. Shout out to Doug Anton in the building. I totally agree with you, Doug. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. And I still say this. The DABG campaign is on. Y'all two together is an unstoppable force. And I'll say that. I'll say that. Listen, he said, very sad day. Jen did a great job, but she is a single lion fighting the whole force. I'm I'm trying to tell you, I got a feeling that things about to change. I got a feeling that things about to change very, very quickly. I would love to see a DABG alliance. That would be great for Robert. And I'm going to push that. It says the statute also requires the depiction be transported or transmitted in interstate commerce. Stop. It says the depiction be transported or transmitted. They haven't proved that Robert transported anything. They haven't proved that Robert transmitted anything. But because they bombarded the court and the jury with interstate BS, the jury had no other point but to say, okay, it's too much. We don't want to be here no more. It's too much. People was going to sleep in Chicago. I mean, calling hogs. Then it say here counts 1 through 3 charge Kelly with the creation of videos 1, 2, and 3. Hold on, Judge Levin Weber. You using the word and now, right? But you changed it and put and because it was or. And the wording was, if you can find the defendant guilty of creating videos 1, 2, 1, 2, or 3, then you must find them guilty. The jury came back and asked Leavenworth, do you still want us to keep this at or? He said, no, change it to and. Well, from what we was told, what none of the videos authenticated and couldn't be authenticated. So how can you use the videos? Well, Rashona came public. This is me. But now we find out that she was coerced, induced. She was bribed with Section 8, lifetime Section 8 ability and food stamps in California for her and her mother, which we also found out that she also fostered a immunity deal for her and her mother. Wait a minute. So without inducing her to say these things, do you have a case? So you charge R. Kelly or Robert Kelly for these things in New York, but you don't charge Miss Cruel and the rest of the government for the same exact things in Chicago. This is a double standard here. And I'll say this. I think Judge Leavenworth need to be investigated. I think it need to go higher. I think the DOJ need to step in because we seen this happen before, or we heard about it, and that's when judges and everybody, they went to jail because they didn't hold their oath of office. Then it says each video contains a depiction of Kelly engaging in sexual conduct with Jane, a minor at the time. Well, wait a minute. If she was a minor at the time, right? Videos 1, 2, and 3. How did Keith get the video of Robert, Rashona, and Drea? How did somebody else get the video of Lisa Van Allen, Rashona, and Drea? And all of them were adults. I'm lost. Then it says Kelly argues that the government did not prove each element of the statute at trial. Specifically, Kelly argues that the government failed to show that Kelly enticed minor Jane into sexual conduct with the purpose of creating a video. Didn't I just say that? Now, if he was there and I'm only getting it from Jason Meisner and I'm getting the same thing that he getting, then hey, did anybody else get that? Now, if anybody else get that, then it can't be a lie, can it? If people that don't know each other is getting the same thing, only 2 people that know each other got the same thing. But then you got other people in the world that's saying, wait a minute, this don't look right. Then it says, Kelly also argues that the government failed to prove that the videos traveled in interstate commerce. Facts. Y'all got to prove that Kelly put them videos out to go through interstate commerce, which he did not. Lisa Van Allen did. Chuck Freeman did. Let's keep it a buck. Michael Avenatti did. But then I'm going to take it a step further. Why are we on that? Who you know in the height of the trial, before this trial starts, Michael Avenatti had 31 counts dismissed. And then a video shows up in Kelly's trial. But when it was in state court, they couldn't get it to play. So with that being said, Michael Avenatti, you got more work to do. I need you to give me a playable diss of what you had. Judge Leavenweather ain't care what Damon Pryor had to say when he put it out there that they were trying to manipulate a tape to set R. Kelly up. Jim Dariakis, he can go on everybody's platform and spread lies, but can't get on the stand and tell the truth. And Judge Leavenweather let him off. So I'm wondering about some things. Did Leavenweather have a margarita one too many? Because you know he was famous for wanting a margarita. But it says, in the alternative, Kelly argues that the government failed to prove that Kelly knew that the videos would be put in interstate commerce. That's facts. The court disagrees with Kelly's arguments. First, there's a simple evidence that Kelly induced Jane into sexual conduct. Jane testified about how Kelly gradually persuaded her into sexual activity with him. Wait a minute. Did Jane testify, or was Jane coerced to say those things? It's a difference. You can't say she testified, but know that she got immunity and she got this, and then the underline, she won 13 to 20 million. What up, Donovan? You can't say that she testified without saying she was coerced, enticed, induced by the government. You can't say that. Then they said Jane described how Kelly induced her into making videos 1 through 3, and that Kelly positioned the camera and told Jane exactly what to do and say while having sex with him. Stop. But I thought y'all said, Judge Leavenweather, I thought y'all said, and I thought y'all witnesses said, and I thought y'all prosecutors said, that on the video, you can hear R. Kelly saying, come give me that 14-year-old PUSSY. So wait a minute. Now you saying that you couldn't hear it, but Jane said it. Hold on. That's not what y'all went on the media and said. Y'all went on the media and said y'all can hear it. But then when it was time for everybody to hear it, now you can't validate it. So with Jane testifying, right? And with y'all giving her immunity, here's my question. Why was immunity given for her if y'all knew she was telling the truth? See, when you tell the truth, you don't need immunity. Only when you tell a lie. So when you're telling the truth, you don't need immunity. Because the truth don't need to be defended. But when you lie, oh, hell yeah, give me immunity. I'm moving to California. And give me a nice Section 8 house in Beverly Hills. Give me that nice old EBT card. Me and my mama and my child. So that's a good, in California, that's a good $1,300. I'm just saying. Some things not supposed to be. Second, the statute does not require that the sexual conduct be for the sole purpose of creating a video. Wait a minute. If the statute does not require that the sexual conduct be for the sole purpose of creating a video, Didn't y'all say that y'all are putting charges on him because of him being the sole purpose of creating the video? You see what I'm saying? Now, you're contradicting yourself, Levin Weather. Because first you say, oh, we're going to prosecute him for the sole purpose of him producing a video. But now you come back and say the statute does not require that the sexual conduct be for the sole purpose of creating a video. So if the statute does not require that, why would y'all label that? I get it, because it make them seem more deviant. It make it seem more dark. Then you say it is enough that creating a video depiction be a purpose of the sexual conduct. It need not be the sole purpose. Stop. With that right there, lets me know that you believe that he was guilty the whole way through. The whole way through. Then you give United States versus Merrill and United States versus Macaulay case law. Then you say, Kelly also seemingly argues that there was no commercial purpose associated with the production of the videotapes. The statute does not require that the video be made for any commercial purpose. United States versus Anderson case law and United States versus Sorios case law. Now watch this. Have y'all ever figured out the fact that maybe the man had a home security system that monitors his house 24/7 and that's what y'all got? Have y'all ever figured that out, Judge Levenweather? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break. I got to run to the bathroom. And we're going to pick back up on there. But I'm going to play this joint again. We're going to rock out. Let's go. Go get something to drink. Take an intermission.
Not supposed to be green, like faith's not supposed to be seen. The sky's not supposed to touch the ground, and a square's not supposed to be round. The moon's not supposed to touch the sun, and a two is not supposed to be a one. And the heart's not supposed to weigh a ton, and forever's not supposed to be done. Winter's not supposed to come in June, and I am not supposed to have the blues. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, babe, except you and me. There are so many things that are not supposed to be, ooh, baby, yeah, except you and me. Night's not supposed to be long, yeah. No one is supposed to be alone. Understanding is not supposed to be confused, and the wind is not supposed to lose. Like fire's not supposed to freeze, or like joy is not supposed to grieve. Like you are not supposed to leave what I said I'm not supposed to mean. He is not supposed to have your heart. Baby, we are not supposed to be apart. There are so many things that are not supposed to be said. You and me. There are so many things that are not supposed to be. Hey, baby, it seems just like no seasons changing, or this earth with no creation, or a heart with no feelings, or a sickness without a healing. Just like a frozen spring, or a bird with no wings. Just like a song out of key, that's how my life would be. Like the night skies with no stars, a lonely broken heart, no holding hands or walks in the park. That's how it would be if we were apart. Ooh.
All right, we're gonna get back to it. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. So it says United States versus Morrell and United States versus McCauley. Then we drop down to United States versus Anderson and Sorio's case laws. Then it says Congress has unambiguously indicted that a defendant does not need to have a commercial motive to be liable under 2251A. Okay. Third, the government presented evidence showing that the images on videos 1, 2, and 3, hold on. For all the liars out there that said they showed 3 videos. Look what it says. Third, the government presented evidence showing that the images on videos 1, 2, and 3 traveled in interstate commerce. So here we go. They never showed the videos. They showed images that they believe that was on those videos. So hold on. If we're going to convict a man about making videos, you got to show the videos. You can't just play an audio and then show pictures. There's no that's not a video. A video contains of a video depiction, and as it's rolling, it have an audio to sustain everything that's going on that you're seeing. It don't have pictures. Doom, that's a video. Doom, that's a video. Oh, R. Kelly. Oh, that's a video. Oh, give it to daddy. Oh, no, that's not a video. That's a production. I think I should have went to law school. Then it says Kelly argues that the government was required to show that the physical videos were transported in interstate commerce, which they were. The term visual depiction as used in 2251A is defined in 18 USC 22565. There, visual depiction is defined as data capable of conversion into visual image. Hold on. And data which is capable of conversion into visual image that has been transmitted by any means. Now watch this. So what you're telling me is that if I make a sex tape, right? And it's for me, and the person get mad at me and steal it and send it somewhere, and they making copies of it, and then we go to court and they telling you they made copies, and I'm saying I don't know nothing about it, I'm still held responsible? That sounds stupid. So if that's the case, why is pornography allowed on the internet? Listen, I'm about to tell on myself now. Why is XXX videos allowed to be up on the internet? I got some homies that are porn stars. I dated a porn star. So you mean to tell me that they can go to jail? If that's the case, why haven't Julian St. Jacques went to jail? Ask that question. Why Pinky ain't in jail? Why Superhead ain't in jail? Why Vanessa Del Rio ain't in jail? Why Miss Diaz Dior not in jail? Why Black Beauty Dior not in jail? Make this make sense. A man who had no knowledge of something being stolen is being prosecuted for something he didn't do. I'm just saying. Then it says, thus, Transportation of the data on videos 1, 2, or 3 was satisfied the statute. Hold on. Transportation of the data on videos 1, 2, and 3? Wait a minute. If it's data, where's the videos? So what you're telling me is that it's pictures on 3 tapes with some audio, but it's not full videos. Well, EJ, Mr. Marcus is in jail. He's in jail right now for giving people AIDS. He's in jail. Then it says, regardless of what medium housed that data, the government produced testimony establishing that the data from video 1 traveled across the country. Specifically, Betty Alwang from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, testified that the NCMEC received a series depictions called the Paneled Room series from law enforcement agencies across the country. Ms. Alwang also testified that she compared the Paneled Room series with video 1 and that she concluded that the Panel Room series was from video 1. Now watch this. You clearly heard Chuck Freeman say that he put that together. You clearly heard Keith say that Chuck was colluding with Lisa Van Allen. I clearly showed you the video where Yul Brown and Lisa Van Allen, along with Chuck, was trying to extort R. Kelly. Make this shit make sense. Nah, EJ. Kelly argues that the government evidence that videos 2 and 3 traveled in interstate commerce was insufficient. The government put a testimony from Charles Freeman, here we go, Lisa Van Allen, and Keith Morrell establishing that videos 2 and 3 traveled in interstate commerce. Stop. Charles Freeman didn't give a damn. He told you he stole it. Lisa Van Allen told you she stole it. Keith Morrell sat back and told you that it wasn't who y'all thought it was on the videotape. So if Charles Freeman and Lisa Van Allen took it, and Keith had a copy, and Charles said he went to Atlanta and got a copy, and Lisa Van Allen had a copy, what do that got to do with Robert? Robert didn't put it in interstate commerce. So now Levenweather is proving the fact that Robert did not put videos 2 and 3 out in rotation or video 1. That it was Lisa Van Allen and Charles Freeman that did it. So my thing is, Levenweather is willing to overlook what Lisa Van Allen and Charles Freeman said just to make sure that Rob get a conviction, at least something. But Keith Morrell even said they were all adults on them. You see how that was played to the left? Then it says, Kelly argues that Charles Freeman and Lisa Van Allen's testimony was rejected whole cloth by the jury. Motion for judgment of acquittal. 14 docket number 387. Kelly's evidence for this assertion is that he was acquitted of counts 4, 6, 7, and 8 of the indictment. Kelly argues that by acquitting him on these charges, the jury necessarily concluded that the tapes acquired by Van Allen and Freeman did not contain child pornography. Right. But then he turned around and said, this argument does not hold water. Why not? Why not? Like counts 1 through 3, counts 4 was brought under 18 USC 2251A. So wait, hold on, let me get it right. Okay. So if Robert is saying that the jury has acquitted him of these charges. And the jury necessarily concluded that the tapes acquired by Van Allen and Freeman did not contain child pornography, right? So if the jury concluded that, how is it that the argument don't hold water when the jury have concluded that it was no child pornography on there? But wait, you saying that the jury acquitted him does not hold water, right? But you mean to tell me that Lisa Van Allen, Chuck Freeman testimony hold water? Now, wait a minute. Are you telling me that Lisa Van Allen, Chuck Freeman testimony hold water, but the jury acquitting him on them charges don't hold water? If that's the case, what the hell are we here for? This is where Ms. Bonjean filed for a new trial and a change of venue. This is where Ms. Bonjean, hold on, what in the world? This is where Bonjean files for a new trial and a change of venue, because we now see that Robert can't get a fair trial. We now see that Robert can't get a fair trial. Because now you're telling me that a streetwalker and a known thief who put on a circus in your court, their testimony hold water. But the jury that acquitted Robert on those tapes, their word, their voice, their depiction, their situation does not hold water. Well, now I'm going to ask you this question. If what the jury say don't count, why are y'all still holding Robert then? Because if he was convicted on 6 charges by the jury, but now you saying because he was found not guilty, then it don't matter. It don't hold water. Wait a minute. And you can't have it both ways, Levin Weber. You can't have it both ways, Levin Weber. Then you say like counts 1 through 3. Count 4 was brought under 18 USC 2251A. Wait. Count 6 through 8 were brought under 18 USC 2252 and charged Kelly with conspiracy to receive child pornography and receipt of child pornography. Wait a minute. How was it a conspiracy if he was found not guilty? Because now, if you're saying that it was a conspiracy, that means June Brown and Daryl McDavid would have been found guilty too, because they was on that same charge. What up, J-Rock? Then it says, for a jury to convict under either statute, the government must prove each element of the charged offense. And the government didn't do it. You changed the wording, Levin Weather. If you wouldn't have changed the wording, he wouldn't have been found guilty. Then it says, if the government fails to prove even one element, a jury cannot convict. When reading its verdict, the jury did not explain why it chose to acquit Kelly of counts 4 through 8. It did not explain that it was acquitting Kelly of those counts because it found that videos 2, 3, and 4 did not contain child pornography. In fact, it is quite the opposite. By convicting Kelly of counts 2 and 3, the jury communicated that it found that videos 2 and 3 contained child pornography and were transported in interstate commerce. The court finds no reason to disturb in the jury's verdict now. Now, wait a minute. That's not what it said. So now y'all changing it. Because if you go back to the jury if you go back to the questionnaires, it wasn't counts 1, 2, and 3. It was counts 1, 2, or 3. Which means counts 1, 2, or 3. That means if you can't find him on all 3, you must acquit him. but you changed the wording and at the last minute to and. Judge Levin Weber, you think you're slick. You think you're slick. Then it says the jury communicated that it found that videos 2 and 3 contained child pornography and were transported in interstate commerce. The court finds no reason to disturb the jury's verdict now. Okay. Then it says, in the alternative, Kelly argues that he was not aware that the videos would be transported in interstate commerce. Facts. This argument fails. Why? 18 USC 2251A is clear that knowledge is only one of the ways the statute may be satisfied. Actual transportation also satisfies the statute. So wait a minute. How can he know that transportation happened of the tapes if he didn't know or have any knowledge that the tapes were gone? Then when he found out the tapes were gone, he conveyed it to other folks, and they the ones that said, no, let's go get them back. Then it says here, the government proved that videos 1 through 3 were actually transported in interstate commerce, but it wasn't by Kelly. So if they was transported, who was it transported by? Oh, I forgot. The people that it was transported by got immunity. Make this sugar honey iced tea make 6. Real as it gets said, he changed the language to or. It was an on indictment, but or in jury instructions, and would have made it hard for the government to prove all. Thank you so much. Okay, I stand corrected. But I had it the way around. Thank you so much, real as it get. So with that being said, right? With that being said, check this out. With that being said, why is he using and now? Why is he using and now? Why is he using and now? He should have left or then. And see, and that's the point. He changed it to make it beautiful for the government to have their language there. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Why change the language? Then it says, thus Kelly's knowledge is irrelevant. Whoa. What? Thus Kelly's knowledge is irrelevant. So now you're saying it's irrelevant if he knew it or not. Kelly's motion for a judgment of acquittal on counts 1 through 3 is denied. You know what? I'm gonna go here. If Jennifer Bonjean can't get a change of venue, she need to put in for Levenweber to be recused and put in a motion for a new trial and put it all out there. Nah. Then it says counts 9 through 11 of the indictment were all brought under 18 USC 2422B. 2422B prohibits the use of facility of interstate commerce to induce a minor to engage in criminal sexual conduct. Kelly was convicted of using the telephone to what? To induce and entice 3 minors, Jane, Nia, and Pauline. So he used the telephone? Okay. So if Kelly was convicted, right? If Kelly was convicted, right? Hold on, y'all. I don't know why I'm getting text right now. If Kelly was convicted of using the telephone to induce and entice 3 minors, Jane, Nia, and Pauline, into criminal sexual conduct, right? Miss Angel Cruel, she should be convicted of using the telephone to induce Jane into criminal activity and criminal conduct. Why can't it be overturned, ATB? If she asks for a change of venue, why can't it be overturned? That's what happens when you ask for a change of venue. So I disagree with that, ATB. Then it says Kelly's argument on these counts is twofold. First, that he did not use a facility of interstate commerce. Second, that he did not induce the minors in question, Jane, Nia, and Pauline, to engage in criminal sexual activity using the telephone. First, the telephone is a facility of interstate commerce. Even when used in an intrastate fashion, see United States versus Richardson. Case law, see United States versus Nader case law. Interstate telephone calls involve the use of a facility in interstate commerce. Internal quotation marks omitted. See also 15 USC section 78DD3F5, stating that interstate use of a telephone will qualify as interstate commerce in a different context. Key 2 words, different context. You got to find out what context are they talking about. Make this make sense. What context are they talking about? Second, the government provided ample evidence to show that Kelly used the telephone to induce Jane, Pauline, and Nia to engage in criminal sexual activity. When did they do that? The Seventh Circuit has found that child sexual abuse can be accomplished by several means and is often carried out through a period of grooming. United States versus Chambers. Case law. Here, the government elicited testimony that Kelly used the phone to groom Jane, Pauline, and Nia. Wait a minute. The government did what? Elicited testimony. So, since the government elicited testimony from Jane, Pauline, and Nia, right? How did the government provide ample evidence? Because word of mouth is not ample evidence. Word of mouth cannot be trusted. Especially in a case like this, where you have 3 people who were coerced and induced and enticed by the government to say whatever they need to say to get in a conviction. I'm just trying to figure it out. Then it says the government elicited testimony that Kelly used the phone to groom Jane, Pauline, and Nia into committing illegal sex acts with him. Jane testified that her telephone conversations with Kelly that started innocuously but progressed into more sexual topics. After some time, Kelly persuaded Jane to have phone sex. which then led to physical sex. Nia testified that she and Kelly had regular phone calls, which led to Kelly enticing her into a sexual conduct when they met in person. Stop. That's a lie. Because didn't Nia say that Rob, or was that Pauline? No. Nia said that Rob jerked off and ain't never touched her, right? So you mean to tell me a man that's waiting, a man that's waiting for a woman or a young teen, as y'all try to pronounce it, waited all this time just to go to her room and spank his hot dog and then leave? That don't even make sense. Just like she said, Robert paid and arranged for her to get a limo to go from her house to the airport. She ain't had to have no chaperone. She ain't had to have no adult supervision, but she didn't even have an ID. And then she didn't even have proof that a ticket was paid for. She had a code. She said the code. They let her on a plane. Time out. Who in the hell do she think Robert is? At that time, pre 9/11, you needed somebody to chaperone you on the plane. If the chaperone didn't fly, the chaperone had to come get the ticket and show the ID that that person was over 18. But the judge and the government didn't want to hear that. Pauline testified that she had regular sexual contact with Mr. Kelly, all arranged over the phone. That's what Pauline testified to. So wait a minute. If they was coerced by the government, where did the government provide ample evidence at? Where's the evidence? Evidence is not word of mouth. Evidence is something shown. Where's the flight tickets? Where's the hotel reservation? Where's the limo docket? So looking at the evidence in the light most favorable to the government, the court finds that there was enough evidence to sustain a guilty verdict on all 6 counts Kelly was convicted of. Kelly's motion for a judgment of acquittal is denied. Motions for a new trial. Kelly moves for a new trial under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 33. If a district judge believes that a serious danger that a miscarriage of justice has occurred, that is, that an innocent person has been convicted, he has the power to set the verdict aside. Facts. United States versus Morales. This right here is proving what I said, that Levenweber believes that Robert was guilty from day one. And I'm going to read it again. It says, Kelly moves for a new trial under Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 33. Listen to the words, if a district judge believes that a serious danger that a miscarriage of justice has occurred, that is, look at the sarcasm, that is, that an innocent person has been convicted, he has the power to set the verdict aside. United States versus Morales case law. A Rule 33 motion is not to be granted lightly. Kelly argues that he is entitled to a new trial because the government violated its obligations under NAPEG versus Illinois 360 case law. NAPEG stands for the principle that the government may not knowingly use false testimony to obtain a conviction. ID at 269. A defendant is entitled to a new trial under NAPE if there was false testimony. The government knew or should have known it was false, and there is a likelihood that the false testimony affected the judgment of the jury. United States versus Colluded case law. The false testimony must bear a direct relationship to the defendant's guilty or innocence. Kelly makes two separate motions under NAPE. First, about Dr. Darrell Turner's testimony. Second, about Jane's testimony. 1. Dr. Darrell Turner testimony. The government expert witness, Dr. Darrell Turner, testified that his hourly rate for the case was $250. On October 27, 22, the government sent a letter to Kelly's counsel informing them that Dr. Turner's rate for the case was $450 per hour. Dr. Turner letter motion for new trial, example A, docket number 388-1, the government should have known about this discrepancy, and the contract was executed prior to trial. Thus, the question before the court is whether Dr. Turner's testimony about his rates directly related to the jury's decision to convict Kelly on any of the 6 counts. Yes, it does, because it determines how long Dr. Darrell spent on this case to try to prove the government standing. So yes, it does. But then it says the court finds no likelihood that Dr. Turner's testimony about his rates affected the jury's decision to convict Kelly. Come on. Come on. Come on. Right. Not to mention all the unsolicited contact from Team Kales. Facts. What trolls love LaMarcus? Come on, man. I ain't trying to get into that. So, with that being said, then it says, had the jurors known that Dr. Turner actively misled them, the jurors would likely have rejected his testimony outright, which is true. Motion for a new trial based on Dr. Turner's testimony. 8, docket number 388. Kelly does not explain how he reaches this conclusion, nor does he cite any case law in support of his position. Oh, now y'all want to go there. Okay. The law in this circuit does not support Kelly's position. Wow. United States versus Freeman, 650 case law, affirming a district court's decision to grant a new trial when the government star witness testified falsely. The government knew about it, and the government relied on the testimony to secure convictions. United States versus Hiller case law, affirming a district court's decision to deny a motion for a new trial where the government did not rely on the false testimony to secure a conviction. Griffin versus Pierce case law, affirming a district court's decision to deny a motion for a new trial where the false testimony did not change the outcome of the trial. Now, wait a minute. How is it that the false testimony did not affect the outcome of a trial? Levin Weber, are you okay? If they got up in there and lied, of course it affected the outcome of the trial. Because if they would have got up there and told the truth, then guess what? He would have been found innocent and found not guilty. Same thing as innocent. These cases show that a court shall only grant a new trial under NAPE if the false testimony directly leads to the defendant's conviction, which they did. They did that. Here, it is not clear to the court how the false testimony about Dr. Turner rates bears on Kelly's guilt. Whoa. Whoa. Levin Weber, how is Kelly guilty? Dr. Turner had no personal involvement in this case. He was not familiar with Kelly or any witnesses in the case. That's a lie. Because the government groomed him. That's how. The same thing y'all said that Robert did to them. Dr. Turner testified genuinely about grooming and victim behavior. Dr. Turner did not express a conclusion about whether any of those practices and behaviors were present in this case. While Dr. Turner's testimony may have been provided helpful background information to the jury. Stop. If you lie about one thing, knowingly, willingly, you lie about everything. He never tied that information back to Kelly. But he did. And the government did. As such, there was sufficient evidence to sustain Kelly's conviction. It wasn't, even without Dr. Turner's testimony. Okay, so let's go here. If you take Dr. Turner's testimony out, right? And if you take Jane, Pauline, and Nia testimony, and you let them testify and without being coerced and given immunity, do you think we have the same trial? Do you think we had the same outcome? I will object to this. The government's case was mainly based on the testimony of the victim witnesses. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I got one better. The government's case was mainly based on the testimony of the victim witnesses who testified as to Kelly's actions. So therefore, you had no video depiction. You had no video depiction. You had a motive for them to say what they say. Check it. I don't know Fidel Castro, right? But if you tell me that I'm going to get 13 or 20 million just to get up there and put on a show and say that nigga tried to have me killed, guess what? I'm going to get on there and I'm going to say everything I got to say to make y'all and believe. Why? Because I got an interest. See, Levin Weber think he's slick. He's trying to hide the interest. It's an interest that the government have. But then I'm going to go here and I'm going to take it a step further. What I tried to tell y'all once before, any type of case that come before a judge, they have an interest. Why? Because the judges got to get paid. How do judges get paid? Through the bonds. Through the bonds. And if they deplete his account at the Federal Reserve, he's nothing. Number two, Jane, one of the victim witnesses, testified that she was undecided about whether she was going to seek restitution. Kelly argues that this statement is false. In support, Kelly points to Jane's private attorney's billing records, which contains 3 entries discussing restitution. It is not clear to the court which, if any, of the NAPU requirements are satisfied here, simply because Jane and her attorney considered the possibility of restitution. No, they didn't consider the possibility of restitution. They have already engaged into receiving restitution. Come on. Does not mean she lied during her testimony. So what the hell do it mean? You trying to cover up. It's not no considered the possibility. They have already engaged in the sum of restitution 2 years before the case even took place. So what you mean? Possibility. It wasn't a possibility. It was a foregone conclusion. That's all. Then it says Jane's testimony was that she was undecided. Her testimony was not that she was not intending to pursue restitution. Oh, come on. Dude, are you really going to go there? Jane's testimony was that she was undecided. Levin Weber, I know you old, but I'm going to ask this question. How was her testimony was that she was undecided, right? When 2 years before this case started, they already came up with a sum. They came up with a value. They came up with a plan to execute if he was found guilty. Make that make sense. Kelly alleges that the government knew that Jane's statement was false because Jane's attorney discussed restitution with the government in 2020. Again, nothing in the record suggests that Jane was going to pursue restitution. What? Just that it was a possibility. Levin Weber, man, look, change of venue. Let the judge recuse himself. Kelly argues that this false testimony was directly related to his conviction because it goes to Jane's credibility genuinely. Kelly fails to specify further, only stating that Jane had motivation to share her story in ways that were not entirely honest because she stood to gain significant restitution, which could have affected the judgment of the jury. Motion for a new trial based on Jane's testimony, 12 docket number 48. The court finds that Kelly has not met the requirements of NAPE, nor is this a case that requires a new trial in the interest of justice. Kelly's motions for a new trial are denied. Conclusion. For the reasons stated herein, Kelly's motion for a judgment of acquittal, docket number 387, and Kelly's motions for a new trial, docket numbers 388 and 408, are denied. It is so ordered. Harry D. Levin Weber. Now watch this. I'm going to take it a step further. Jennifer Bonjean put in a 34-page sentencing memorandum, right? Breaking it all down, right? She put in a 34-page sentencing memorandum. My question is this. I wonder and I'm going to tell y'all that have the sentencing memorandum, go to page 6 at the bottom. That starts at section 2A3.1. Right? Read from there. Skip over to page 7. After you finish that start at threatening and end with kidnapping. I believe that's spooked. Right there. That's spooked. That's spooked. Judge Levin Weber. Now, I can't tell Ms. Bonjean what to do. She an expert in this. So I'm going to fall back and let her do what she do. But I will say for the New York trial, right? For the appeal. Both of them was hinged on the state case. I'm going to ask this question. And I haven't heard nobody ask this question. Why Geronda told 3 different stories? If you go look at what she submitted in the state case, it's different from what she said in the federal case. And it's different what she brought to the internet. I'm just going to give you a little bit, and I'm glad my sister Prima Donna put this out there, right? I'm glad she put this out there. Because now I'm going to have some fun with this. Okay, cool. That's what it was.
Yes, I did have sex with Bubba as well. No, we did not have a threesome, but me and Bubba had another relationship outside of Rob. So, yes, I did have sex with Bubba as well. No, we did not have a threesome, but me and Bubba had another relationship outside of Rob. So, yes, I did have sex with Bubba as well. No, we did not have a threesome, but me and Bubba had another relationship outside of Rob.
So, with that being said, she just showed you how easy it is to manipulate the government to get a conviction. She just showed you how easy it is to manipulate the government to get a conviction. Why? Because she was mad that Rob didn't pick her. Look, I don't got a lot else to show y'all. Only thing I'm going to say is stay tuned for tomorrow night, man. And let's continue to pray for Robert. We up out of here. Peace. Only thing I can say is good night, everybody. Good night.
I don't like to waste time on stupid conversation. There's no profit in that. So if I'm around people that are always complaining with no solutions, then I'm wasting real estate in my brain for what I need to project. And what I project in my brain is what I project in my reality. So that real estate only has to be for evolution, things that are going to help me get where I got to go. You understand? Help me evolve. So if my conversation with you makes me stagnate, we don't have too much conversation either. I don't have no time for no stupid ass conversation. I don't.
Swimming in you. Hey, little mama. Said I wanna take her. Dipping your pool. Just go for a little dive, yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. World stand up. Stretch out your hands. 1-8 represent the dream.
Reaching out to the poor people, the sick and alone. I'm reaching out to the fortunate who can build them homes.
I'm reaching out to the one who seems to have lost their way. And I'm calling on all the ones who can show them a brighter day.
I believe that you believe that we can achieve anything.
So lift your voice and give it the verity. Now let your heart see. Africa to America, everywhere the Lord spreads some love. us more.
I believe that you believe that we can achieve anything. So lift your voice and give it everything. Now let your heart sing.
Spread some love. Heal the glow. It's time to open up. Open your eyes and see. Harmony's unity. It's like let me see you stretch your hands and let me see you. Stretch your hands across the wall. Don't let it grab my mind. Here we go. It's the 1-8 project, my desire. The power of love you cannot deny. Let's go, people, it's time to go higher. Spread your wings, I believe you can fly. We can do anything if we believe. Let me see you dance if you got victory. If we come together, we can make history. So let me see